So the California Motor Vehicle Division released a statement saying that the Pro R is no longer a UTV. Do you not need to wear a helmet? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, it's Nick Olson, Chupacabra Offroad. Welcome back to the channel. Now, California Motor Vehicle Division released this statement specifically for Polaris's top dog model, the Pro R. And what's different about that model, if you guys are unfamiliar, is this is the first model classified as a UTV or in California as an ROV, which is a recreational off-highway vehicle that has exceeded one of the criteria that makes it that, which is 1,000 cc's. Now, if you're unfamiliar, the Pro R is 2,000 cc's. This is the first of its kind in our sport, so it has now kind of changed what is required, more specifically for wearing a helmet. And yeah, it's California, you might think, but a lot of us outside of the state definitely head there to recreate, namely Glamis gets a lot of people from all over the country. There's other popular riding spots like Plaster City, Ocotillo Wells, Mammoth Lakes, Jawbone, Gorman, you name it. There's a ton of great places to ride there. And the helmet law came to be with the birth of this whole movement of the UTV sport side-by-side industry going back to the Rhino days. So we'll go through the rules, we did a little bit of digging, show you where they came about, the timeline, and then get us to where we are today. So we're not going to read this statement word for word, we're going to throw it up here, you can pause it and go through it, but what it basically means is that the Polaris Pro R is not defined as an ROV. Let's break down exactly what an ROV is. An ROV is a recreational off-highway vehicle that's designed specifically for recreational use rather than construction, farm, or other utility use. An ROV is also commonly referred to as a side-by-side, a recreational utility vehicle, or a utility terrain vehicle, UTV. Section 500 reads that an ROV means a motor vehicle fits all the following criteria. It was designed primarily for off-highway use. It has a steering wheel for steering control, has a non-straddle seating provided by the manufacturer, has a maximum speed capability of greater than 30 miles per hour, and has an engine displacement equal to or less than 1,000 cc's. So there's the definition. As you can tell, it basically denotes that we're talking about a off-highway vehicle that is not an ATV with the straddle seating position and a steering wheel. Now, we did a little bit of digging to kind of bring you guys up to speed if you're new to the sport, where the helmet law came to be. So according to section 38601, effective January of 2013, that's when the helmet law went into effect, and then a little bit after that, January 2015, it was a requirement only on public land. So that's the law for ROV UTV vehicles, and when you think about it, 2013 isn't that long ago, it's not even been 10 years. So going back a little earlier than that, if you guys are new to the sport really started to catch a lot of momentum, particularly here in the Southwest, with the release of Yamaha's Rhino. Now, the Rhino came out in 2008. It was a narrow vehicle, low horsepower, really a utility vehicle for farm work that became a sport unit. A lot of people started buying these things, adding wider suspension, roll cages, a lot of the same things we do today, stereo, etc. But a couple of these things made them very dangerous. First off, it was only 48 inches wide to begin with, so even if you did do a long travel kit, it wasn't that wide. And one other thing that people did was add a rear seat up in the bed area, which took a lot of weight and put it high, made the vehicle very unstable, and that led to a lot of crashes and injuries. So the vehicles are progressing, people are trying to progress the vehicles themselves, and that led to more laws, specifically another seat law emerged. So can you install an aftermarket seat in your ROV? Yes, any manufacturer provided seat can be replaced with an aftermarket seat. However, for 2014 model year and later, seats cannot be added to areas of the vehicle which were not designed as seating areas by the manufacturer. So people are checking out these Rhinos, accidents are starting to happen. Now you gotta get some regulatory provisions to keep people safe. It reminds me of the ATVs going back to before I was even born in the 70s, and Honda started off with the three-wheeler, the ATC. Those things became banned, they became four-wheelers, and helmet laws came into be for ATVs January 1st of 1989. So kind of following a similar route, the vehicles progress, people start using them, and that has a lot to do with going from the Rhino days to today. The helmet law is still in effect, and the changes have been pretty remarkable here in the last 10 years, going from 48 inches wide to 72 to 74 inches wide on these stock UTVs, going from about 30 horsepower stock up to 200, 225 horse stock off the showroom floor. The vehicles, I'd argue, have become a lot safer, even though the horsepower has more than 5 or 6x'd. But they're lower center of gravity. They're really designed for the sport application, which wasn't what the Rhino was about. It just so happened there was such a demand in the marketplace that people were taking that vehicle and putting it in that space. So it's kind of interesting that the biggest, baddest, most powerful UTV side-by-side on the market doesn't require a helmet, but other vehicles that have half the horsepower do. So definitely a controversial topic here for off-roading in California. Okay, so making this video, I want to share with you guys my opinion. This is just what I think. And to me, I feel like everybody in a UTV should be wearing a helmet all the time. Now, I've been a two-wheel guy most of my life, starting off as a youngster riding and racing BMX bikes, racing mountain bikes, racing motorcycles, dirt bikes. I even worked for one of the biggest helmet manufacturers in the world, Fox, selling helmets. So I am a helmet guy. My kids always wear a helmet. I think it's very important. And the reason is coming from that two-wheel world, you have to dress for the crash front of a roll cage to protect us. And that's just something that I think a lot of UTV side-by-side owners don't really think about. What I've noticed in areas where people are not required, cough Arizona, cough Utah, is that you guys don't wear helmets. Now, a lot of you guys might feel like your stock OEM cage is adequate, or a lot of you guys, of course, upgrade to something that's a lot stronger. You're not required to wear a helmet, and what I've seen personally is that when people aren't forced to, they generally don't, and a lot of people, of course, complain about having to wear one in California. So to use an analogy of when I'm riding my dirt bike, now if I'm going out riding on public lands, I'm required to wear a helmet, but I'm not required to wear knee braces. I wear those every ride. I'm not required to wear a chest protector. I wear those every ride. I'm not required to wear expensive boots to keep my ankles in place if I come up short on a jump or have a crash. I wear them every ride. Now this is where we have to take a personal accountability and understand ourselves, what we're trying to achieve, how dangerous the sports we're participating are, and we'll touch on that more here in just a minute. So I bring up the dirt bike analogy because it is the gnarliest sport on planet Earth. It's very dangerous, and I've been hurt with all the safety gear. I've been knocked out in a helmet. I've torn my ACL completely wearing knee braces, and I'm thankful for those things because I think I would have been hurt a lot worse if I weren't wearing them. Now, same thing kind of goes for my side-by-side. It's easy to jump in and say, oh, I'm not gonna push it today. I'm not racing. We're just farting around. Then you strap in, then you've got 200 horsepower. Next thing you know, there's a nice road and you're just drifting four-wheel sideways, or you come up with somebody on the trail as potential head-on collision. You never know. You can't control all the variables. These sports are very dangerous, and it's something that really resonates with me coming from the two-wheel world where you pay the price with your head and your neck. So for me, the helmets give me a lot of peace of mind that I know I'm prepared in case something does go wrong. And similarly, we've done a lot of videos here on the channel talking about upgrading your vehicle. The first thing I've always recommended are some solid 4-point harnesses. Now, I think these are incredibly important as well. And you know, I'm not perfect either. I'm not here trying to be preachy. There's some things that I could have on my vehicle that would make it even safer that I haven't used, like window nets. I haven't always had the best fire suppression systems on my cars. So, you know, we all have to make these decisions. We all should be wearing all of our safety gear, all of our equipment as much as we possibly have available to us, because the unfortunate reality is that these sports are very dangerous. I know friends, people that have been involved in crashes, been hurt even worse, and that reality can hit home really quick. So just because you've got a roll cage around you doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be protected in everything that could come your way when you're out on the trail. So sometimes we cannot be 100% truthful with ourselves when we're in a dangerous sport, and I think it's natural for a lot of people to say, well, you know, these companies protect us. I bought a side-by-side from one of these manufacturers, and they have to do all of this safety testing for rollovers and fire suppression and these type of things, and I'm buying this vehicle knowing that I'm safe. So I think it's common for a lot of us to assume that our vehicle is going to keep us safe no matter what. Maybe we get that from the automotive industry, where we've seen automotive safety evolve with, you know, crumple zones and airbags, these type of things. But I think the sport that we're in, off-roading, is dangerous. I think that we need to take accountability. We need to consider going above and beyond that stock roll cage on the vehicle, the stock seat belts. You know, yes, Can-Am, Polaris, all these companies do have to pass safety regulations for rollovers and fire suppression and thing, but that is okay. It could be better, and you're really in a dangerous sport. I can't emphasize that enough. Things can get very dangerous in a hurry, and there are some of these other things that you can add to your vehicle, like protecting your noodle, that are going to keep you safe in case something does go wrong. I think all of us as off-roaders, we need to really just look at ourselves in the eyes and take some personal accountability based on what we're going to be doing, how we're going to be recreating, because a great analogy is me eating McDonald's. Now, I can eat McDonald's every day and I'm probably going to become pretty unhealthy. Now, McDonald's is in the business of selling food, selling burgers, and there are some regulations on the health of those items, but I think we can all be honest with ourselves, understand that if we were to partake in food like that, that's very unhealthy for a long period of time, we're gonna harm ourselves. So, you know, yes, there are certain regulations set up to keep people safe, similar to our industry, but there's other things that we can do for being accountable, understanding the reality of the scenario. These sports are dangerous, these vehicles are fast. Wearing a helmet's a really good idea. So I'm gonna jump off my soapbox. That's my interpretation. That's how I see the world based on my experiences. Why don't you guys comment below, let me know what you think. Do you think Pro R drivers, owners, passengers should be wearing a helmet like the rest of us? Let me know also what other safety gear that you will always have on your off-road vehicle, whether that's an upgraded roll cage, fire suppression system, window nets, etc. Most importantly, it's about getting out there, having great experiences safely with our friends and family. So hope you guys like the content. If you do, please like and subscribe. Check out some of our products online. We make a lot of off-road accessories for all the UTVs on the market. Chupacabra Offroad.com. Thanks, we'll see you on the next one.